known better if it were a couple of years later, or if I had a little more experience in D.C. I was a New York person, not a D.C. person. And I had a lot of opposition. I just noticed, I looked on the stage for the recent inauguration, and I'm looking, it's like a who's who of Washington. Well, if you look on the stage for the first one, it was just the opposite.
So some of your plays have raised some questions and had some pushbacks. 19 states' attorneys general filed a lawsuit, and early Saturday, a judge agreed with them.
All right, so he went from picking the most popular. Like I say, he didn't have the right people around him, and people were over here making suggestions for the man, the last presidency, and that's why he's seen a lot of in-cabinet betrayals.
To restrict Elon Musk and his government efficiency team, DOGE, from accessing Treasury Department payment and data systems. They said there was a risk of irreparable harm. What do you make of that? And does that slow you down on what you want to do?
No, I disagree with it 100%. I think it's crazy. And we have to solve the efficiency problem. We have to solve the fraud, waste, abuse, all the things that have gone into the government. You take a look at the USAID, the kind of fraud in there,
and you found significant things.
Well, we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars of money that's going to places where it shouldn't be going, where if I read a list, you'd say, this is ridiculous. And you've read the same lists, and there are many that you haven't even seen. It's crazy. It's a big scam. Now, there's some good money, and we can do that through any one of a number. I think I'd rather give it to Marco Rubio over at the State Department. Let him take care of the few good ones. So I don't know if it's kickbacks or what's going on, but the people, look, I ran on this, and the people want me to find it. And I've had a great help with Elon Musk, who's been terrific.
Bottom line, you say you trust.
And that's the best part about it, is that he ran on it. It just didn't come out of surprise. He didn't just pop this up out of nowhere and say, yeah, well, here's Elon, here's Doge, and, on day one of his presidency. Nah, this was like midway through. He said, yeah, Elon's teaming up with him. Damn, they're actually close to the end of the election. Elon teams up with him. They announced Doge, him and Vivek. They tell us that, yeah, we're going to look into government spending. And then they go do that. And now the Dems are tripping. It's like, it don't make no sense. But hey, we're here to have that debate tonight.
Trust him.
Trust Elon? Oh, he's not gaining anything. In fact, I wonder how he can devote the time to it. He's so into it. But I told him do that. Then I'm going to tell him very soon, like maybe in 24 hours, to go check the Department of Education. He's going to find the same thing. Then I'm going to go to the military. Let's check the military. We're going to find billions, hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud and abuse. But I campaigned on this, Brett.
You announced tariffs on Canada and Mexico. You immediately got action from both of them on border security and drug interdiction.
I did. A lot of action.
Is that good enough?
Expected.
Is that good enough?
No, it's not good enough.
So more needed in 30 days.
Something has to happen. It's not sustainable. And I'm changing it.
The Prime Minister said this weekend to a group of...
And make sure to double tap the screen and like the video, guys, or hit the 3 dots up there in the corner. Appreciate the support. Let's keep it going.
Canadian businessman. He was a private meeting. He said that your wish for Canada to be the 51st state is a, quote, real thing. Is it a real thing?
Yeah, it is. I think Canada would be much better off being a 51st state, because we lose $200 billion a year with Canada, and I'm not going to let that happen. It's too much. Why are we paying $200 billion a year, essentially in subsidy to Canada? Now, if they're a 51st state, I don't mind doing it.
You said the tariff is a beautiful word. There are some signs in the markets, consumer confidence, that they're a little jittery. So if all goes to plan, when do you think families will be able to feel prices going down, groceries, energy, or are you kind of saying to them, hang on, inflation may get worse until it gets better?
No, I think we're going to become a rich... Look, we're not that rich right now. We owe $36 trillion. That's because we let all these nations take advantage of us. Same thing, like $200 billion with Canada. We owe 300. We have a deficit with Mexico of $350 billion. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to let that happen.
Sports has always been something that Americans rally around to come together. They really do. You won the popular vote. You won all the swing states. Have you thought about how to try to bring the country together, to reach out or to find common ground? Have you thought about that, or how that might go?
I'd love to do it. But I would say this. We have to come together. But to come together, there's only one thing that's going to do it, and that's massive success. Success will bring the country together, but it's hard. And I say it's hard. I just signed a bill allowing for women not to have to be punished by men in sports. In other words, men are not going to be allowed to play in sports against women. It's ridiculous.
You're a sports guy. You're a football fan. Size up these two teams.
I'm a big fan of both teams. They're sort of different. And
Honey, I was saying in the chat, like, hey, wouldn't it have been poetic justice for the Eagles to actually win this, as Donald Trump is being president and then we're all in this pro-American spirit? It would just be poetic justice for these guys to win. And here's the thing, I'm pretty sure they are going to win. So shout out to the Eagles. Happy early victory, because 40-6 is crazy.
Philadelphia have one of the greatest running backs, Saquon. Saquon had an uncle who was a great fighter. And Iran Barkley, his name was. So you have a great running back. You really have a great quarterback. The other team, the quarterback really knows how to win. He is a great, great quarterback.
So game prediction?
I hate to do it. I just say that I've watched this great quarterback who has, by the way, a phenomenal wife, okay? She's a Trump fan. She's a MAGA fan, so I happen to love her, okay? But she's a great person. I watched her being interviewed. I said, boy, that's pretty good. But she's great, and he's great. I guess you have to say that when a quarterback wins as much as he's won, I have to go with Kansas City. I have to go with Kansas City. At the same time, Philadelphia has a fantastic. It's going to be just a great game.
Well, Trump was wrong on that one because, I don't think Kansas City is coming back from the 46. But hey, shout out to Eagles, and make sure y'all double tap that screen. Hey, let's get more people in on the conversation by liking the video or hit the 3 dots up there in the corner.
Finally, listen, you are the most recognized person in the world, likely the most imitated person in the world. Every comedian has a Donald Trump imitation, everyone. But now you have UFC fighters winning fights, NFL players doing the Trump dance.
Yeah.
Did you ever think that was going to be a thing?
No, I didn't. I mean, we do these rallies. They've always been great, but they got really great. And it's just, I don't know what it is. I try and walk off sometimes without dancing, and I can't. I have to just because it's just got something special about it.
Mr. President, thanks for the time.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy the game. You can see the rest of the interview on a host of other topics on Special Report Monday on Fox News Channel. In the meantime, we'll send it back.
All right. And yeah, we'll pretty much get the rest of that interview later on. But all right, man, let's go ahead and get Trump's, official meeting on a jet. I mean, the man is pretty much signing the papers on a jet.
Hello, everybody. Hello, sir. How are you? Nice to see you. You good? Good. You all set? We're flying over right now. We're flying over a thing called the Gulf of America. And I'm signing a proclamation, and perhaps you could define that.
This is a proclamation declaring today, February 9th, 2025, as the first ever Gulf of America Day. This follows the president's executive order issuing a name change.
I ain't gonna lie, this man making history by low-key making holidays. Man, happy Gulf of America Day, guys. Happy Gulf of America Day, February 9th, 2025. Hey, we got a new holiday.
From the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
And we're flying right over it right now. So we thought this would be appropriate. Even bigger than the Super Bowl. This is a big thing. And almost everybody now has assented to that.
Attention on board. Ladies and gentlemen, if you could please direct your attention out the right side of the aircraft. Air Force One is currently in international waters for the first time in history, flying over the recently renamed Gulf of America. Please enjoy the flight, and we are now about to head westbound to Super Bowl 59.
My man!
Wow, he did that well. That's a good.
Hey, let's go.
Isn't that nice? We're about make America great again, right? That's what we care about. Okay, here we go. So this is a famous pen now, and we'll put it with something. I'll ask you to do whatever you think we should do with it, Mr. Secretary. Do you want to talk about, Doug, Secretary of the Interior, and also working with Chris Wright on extracting vast amounts of oil and gas and making our country rich? Would you like to say something?
My man. With the Gulf of America, this is a historic day. We want to thank President Trump. His executive order is what set this in motion. We signed a secretarial order as Secretary of Interior directing the U.S. Geologic Survey, who is responsible for the database, which is the Geographic Names Informational System. And so just prior to this signing, if you will, the button was pushed. It became official with this proclamation to call today Gulf of America Day. But now it's going out. As we're sitting here right now, our team is calling all the map providers. So Google Maps.
You know, so crazy. I'm actually happy he didn't run on this. Can you imagine, like, if he'd have ran on this, they'd have been calling this man racist the entire election. Oh, he's trying to take the Gulf of Mexico away from Mexico. He's a racist. They had it for so long. He's such a racist. He wants to, what? I'm sorry, but they're pretty much going to say, this is white supremacy and all this wild stuff. So I'm actually happy this man did not run on this or did not even say that he was doing this until, honestly, he got in office. This was probably the best strategy, because to say that you were going to pretty much change the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, I mean, bro, the libs would have ran with that as racist. Me, patriotic, pro-American, nationalist. But to the Democrats, racist.
Maps, Apple Maps, all the map people, that change will take effect this afternoon to Gulf of America. So again, fantastic. Thank you, President Trump, for setting this all in motion with your executive order. It's an exciting, fun day, and great to do this as we're flying over the Gulf of America.
We thought it would be very appropriate. Catherine, thank you very much for being here.
So
It's been a very important part of his life. And who knows what would have happened to him without you? It might not have been good. Here you go. Okay.
Have you talked to Mexico about this? Do they have
Actually, interestingly, I've never spoken to him about it. It was our call, and I have not spoken to him about. I've spoken to him about many other things, but I haven't really talked to him about this. They have never brought it up. I'm a little surprised at that, but they've never brought it up.
Sir, can you tell us about your conversation with Vladimir Putin?
I don't want to do that now. Now we're trying to end that war. It's a war that would have never happened if I were president.
And guys, we got over 100 of y'all in here, man. Do me a favor and double tap that screen or hit the 3 dots up there in the corner, man. Make sure to like the video. Let's get us to 50 likes.
Would have never happened. But we're making progress, but I can't tell you.
You suffered a couple of court losses, Mr. President, and J.D. Vance said judges aren't allowed to control the executive power. What's your take on that?
But we're going to see what happens. We have a long way to go, and we're talking about fraud, waste, abuse, and when a president can't look for fraud and waste and abuse, we don't have a country anymore. So we're very disappointed with the judges that would make such a ruling, but we have a long way to go. We have to look. We have to find all of the fraud that's going on. We have tremendous fraud, tremendous waste.
And I ain't gonna lie, that's why these Democrats are looking, well, they're looking a little suspicious right now, to be quite honest with you, because yeah, why don't you want us to look into this? Like I said, everybody knows, or mostly everybody who has a brain on their head understands that Elon is just looking over. He can't send, receive, or do anything with USA money. But what he can do is look over where we're sending the money and then report it to the president, and then the president report it to Congress, and they make the adjustments. That's what's supposed to happen here. I mean, it's crazy how everybody's jumping to the conclusion like, oh, he's taking our personal information. Oh, he controls our purse now. It's like, no, y'all are over exaggerating it, and y'all know it.
And tremendous abuse and theft, by the way.
Mhm.
And the day you're not allowed to look for theft and fraud, etc., then we don't have much of a country. So no judge should frankly be allowed to make that kind of a decision. It's a disgrace.
Mr. President, a few years ago, Gulf of America, Canada, Greenland, Gaza, all these are very muscular foreign policy. How does this align with America first?
Because it makes us bigger, stronger, and better, and more protective. We need Greenland because of national security, international security, world peace. And we'll have to do that. Canada, we'll see what happens with Canada, but the people of Canada would be paying less than half of the tax. If you look at the tax, they're going to be paying less than half the tax. They don't pay very much for military, and
The reason they don't pay much is they assume that we're going to protect them. That's not an assumption they can make, because why are we protecting another country? Now, I love the people of Canada. We have a great relationship. But if they became our
yeah, like, but why are we protecting their country and they're not serving us any value? Like, let's be real. I mean, you wonder why Japan came over here and you know, kind of is working with us? I'm gonna tell you, because some of y'all it didn't make any sense to, because we protect these people. We protect Japan, and they don't really give us too much value for it until now. So that's one of the reasons. Like, we trying to get Canada to be like Japan. Like, dog, we protect y'all. Y'all should at least be able to give us a favorable deal, not just pretty much try to take over on the trade deal. So here's the thing: if Japan can do it, why can't Canada? I mean, hey, we're gonna find out, and we're gonna see when these tariffs hit and how well, you know, things roll down for them. Because, like I said, man, hey, look, a bad week in the economy for us is a recession to them.
51st state would be the greatest thing they could ever do. It'd be unbelievable. It would be a cherished state. And think of how beautiful that country would be without that artificial line running right through it. Somebody drew it many years ago with a ruler, just a line. You look at how beautiful that is. Wow, it would be very exciting. But if you look at Canada, it would be cherished as a 51st state. They don't pay their share of military in NATO. They pay very little for military. They're not protected at all. And the reason is they think we're going to protect them. The other thing is we subsidize them to the tune of about $200 billion a year.
But they want to act bad, though. It's like, yo, man, that's literally like your kid that you to pay for to pretty much disrespecting you and think that you're going to keep taking care of them. It's like, can you imagine if you just taking care of your kid and your kid just did everything to disrespect you, everything to go against you, but it still expects you to send them that cash app or the bank transfer? Could you imagine? That's Canada right now, acting like spoiled kids. And well, here's the thing, man. Shout out Trump, who about to unspoil them real quick.
If we stop doing that, if we stop allowing them to make cars through tariffs and other things, cars, trucks, etc., what they make, they're not viable as a country.
So would you agree that?
And shout out Cultural Leotard. Cultured Leotard, she says, why is Maxine Waters' thumbs as long as pinky finger? She's an op, alien watcher. I'm weak as hell. Like MJ. Oh, wow.
A more aggressive foreign policy than your first term? And why is that?
It's more aggressive. It's better. Why? Because I think I've had a lot of experience. And in my first term, I was fighting everybody because they were very aggressive toward me. I always said survival and taking care of the country, not necessarily in that order. But I had to take care of the country, but I had a bunch of lunatics like Pelosi and all of these people. They fought me, and we won. And, I had a lot of other things that were going on there. This time it's much more, they've lost their confidence. I think they've lost the respect of the American people with, men participating in women's sports, with open borders, with transgender for everybody, for all the things that they're doing.
And all that went unchecked. I mean, here's the thing. If they were trying to check it and trying to stamp down on it, I mean, they would have an argument. The Democrats would have an argument. But the fact that one day championed it, they told us it wasn't that big of a problem, and then they called us transphobic for it. I mean, what do y'all expect to happen now? I mean, y'all doubled down on something that was absolutely ridiculous.
It's so bad when you allow people to empty their jails into your country with prisoners, killers, their mental institutions and insane asylums into our country. This is what they're doing. When you allow gang members from Venezuela, but many other countries coming into our country, we're getting them all out now. They've lost their credibility, but they've also lost their confidence. So I have more time to do what I want to do. So we're making our country larger. We're making our country stronger. And in the case of Canada, if this should happen, I don't know how they can do it without us, because without the U.S., Canada really doesn't have a country. They do almost all of their business with us. And if we say we want our cars to be made in Detroit, with a stroke of a pen, I can do that. And other things in addition to that would not allow Canada to be a viable country.
Oh shit! You said you didn't want.
God damn. Okay, now I hear why he's been saying, yo, you can be the 51st state, because The only reason why your country's off America's back is on the taxpayers' back. So it's like, yeah, Canada, it's like, bro, y'all really might want to capitulate right now because the fact that it's being exposed, because now I don't think a lot of people really understood this, and unless you did the research, but a lot of people don't understand that, yeah, we subsidize Canada's whole economy, damn near almost half of its economy. So when you have that much control in your economy, it's kind of crazy that y'all would hit us with tariffs. It's like, what? It's kind of crazy. I mean, that they would even threaten to shut off their electric. I mean, or shut off their power. They can't. They're too much in debt to make any threats like that. So yeah, Canada. I mean, like I said, it's either you can remain your nationality or you can become the 51st state of America. There's only two other choices here. I mean, there's only two choices right now for you.
Honor first responders today, but you pardon hundreds of people who assault.
Hey, nah, Big Way Davis grind. I mean, he says, "Fly, Eagles, fly." Sorry, Swifties, but yep, yeah, it was Taylor Swift's fault. Taylor Swift, the new Kim Kardashian, man. She gonna just as soon as you step around her, everything you got going on just fails, just goes right down the shitter, man. Just dang.
Assaulted first responders. Why did you do that?
Who?
You were going to meet with first responders today, but you pardoned people who assaulted first responders.
I pardoned people that were assaulted themselves. They were assaulted by our government. I pardoned J6 people who were assaulted by our government. That's who assaulted, and they were treated unfairly. There's never been a group of people in this country, outside of maybe one instance that I can think of, but I won't get into it, that were treated more horribly than the people of J6. So, no, I didn't assault. They didn't assault. They were assaulted. And what I did was a great thing for humanity. They were treated very, very unfairly. There's never been an incident like it.
Unfair, sir, unfair.
And guys, there's over 400 y'all in here, man. Do me a favor and double tap that screen and like the video with the three dots up there in the corner. You have any questions, comments, concerns, or disagreements? $2 and up. We'll go ahead and read it out loud, react to it, and post it to the top of the screen. Appreciate the support, guys. Let's go.
Two more policy questions. On Putin again, you realize if you don't clarify that, everyone's going to assume you're talking to President Putin regularly. Are you? So is
it makes sense, but I don't want to talk about it. And if we are talking, I don't want to tell you about the conversation. It's too early. But I do believe we're making progress. We want to stop the Ukraine-Russia war. And I want to stop it just because I hate to see all these young people being killed. The soldiers are being killed by the hundreds of thousands.
So you're starting to put together a plan for like a peace formula or for some sort of resolution?
We're talking to both sides.
Okay. And then on Japan, are you okay with having a foreign country having a controlling interest in a U.S. steel company?
Well, let's look at this. Oh, wow. When I came here, they were going to buy it, and Biden was going to approve it. All of a sudden, Biden didn't because he heard I wasn't going to. I don't want U.S. steel being owned by a foreign country. They can have They don't have a controlling. They have an investment. All they're going to have is an investment. I don't mind an investment in a company, but especially U.S. Steel. U.S. Steel for 15 years was the greatest company in the world, the greatest #1 company in the world. And I'm not going to let another country buy it. We had a great meeting on that, but they are allowed to invest in it, and that's different.
I mean, man, look, the power of steel originated in America. That was one of our founding industries. Like, literally built the industrial industry or the industrial time off the back of steel. I mean, the railroad and all that, oil, all of them needed steel. We were the powerhouse of steel. We just gave it away, just willy-nilly to Japan and China and other countries. And we damn near destroyed our own steel economy. I mean, like, bro, we used to have so many people working in steel. It was crazy. Now, I mean, I think we have like less than 1 million.
Mr. President, on tariffs, sir, you talked about reciprocal tariffs coming in this week. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? And are you announcing a plan for it this week?
Yeah, I'll be announcing probably Tuesday or Wednesday at a news conference reciprocal tariffs. And very simply, it's if they charge us, we charge them. That's all.
When is it going to affect, sir?
Almost immediately. But I'll be announcing the details of it, highly detailed. And it'll be great for everybody, including the other countries. But if they are charging us 130% and we're charging them nothing, it's not going to stay that way.
This is on every country.
every country will be reciprocal in this war. Every
President, can you confirm that
Vote effective.
All right. So he's pretty much saying, look, any country that want to hit us with tariffs, we'll hit them with tariffs. Any country that want to work with us, we'll work with them. I mean, fair is fair. That's what I like about Trump. Fair is fair, but it seems like the Democrats, they want us in unfair deals, unfair trade, and have unfair policies, especially when it comes to immigration.
Everybody, because there's some where we have similar tariffs, but the ones that are taking advantage of the United States, we're going to have it's reciprocity, it's reciprocal. We're going to have a reciprocal tariff. But we'll have a news conference Tuesday or Wednesday.
And just on the steel question, just so I understand
We'll
it
also be
correctly,
announcing steel tariffs on Monday.
tomorrow,
Monday, yeah, tomorrow.
what countries will those go on?
Everybody, steel.
Including Canada and Mexico.
Yeah, any steel coming into the United States is going to have a 25% tariff.
Yeah, and that's any steel. So, I mean, Japan steel, China steel, anywhere that's not American steel is going to get the tariff. I mean, dang. Yeah, so pretty much we're telling these steel companies, so you're either going to bring your business in here or we're going to make your steel unappetizing. Like, what's it going to be? What's it going to be? That's what I'm saying. You can bring it in here or we can just, make your product unappetizing to the American consumer.
What about aluminum, sir?
Aluminum too.
10%?
No, 25%.
25 for aluminum.
25 for both.
Yo.
On steel, sir, are you ruling out then Nippon Steel having a 51% stake or higher? It won't have.
Okay, shout out Big Wave Dave. He says, cry more, trolls. We will harvest your salt. I mean, no, for real. We definitely gonna harvest your salt because boy, y'all crashing out in the chat right now. But it's okay though. It's okay. Just rock with me, and maybe we can convince you of something. Maybe.
Have a majority stake.
Nobody can have a majority stake for U.S. Steel. They can for other companies, but not for U.S. Steel. I think you agree with that, Doug. U.S. Steel was one of our great companies, and through a lot of stupidity and bad government and also bad management of the company, it lost that luster. But it's going to gain it back, and tariffs are going to help. Tariffs are going to make it very successful again. And I think it has good management now, too. Yeah.
President, sorry, may I ask one, please? Can you tell me, can you confirm that you'll be meeting with MBS and Sisi of Egypt soon? Will that be at the White House?
Well, I'll be meeting with all of them numerous times, by the way, but I'll be meeting with all of them. And yeah, I think that it's a big mistake to allow people, the Palestinians or the people living in Gaza, to go back yet another time. And we don't want Hamas going back. And think of it as a big real estate site. And the United States is going to own it and will slowly.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. Is it me or this man has been on his imperialist shit? Like, bro, this man has been talking about taking Canada, Greenland, now the Gaza Strip. Like, he already took over like a bunch of water and airspace. But now we're talking about, that little Gaza Strip right there. Yeah, that's all us. That's gonna be real estate for us. Now, as far as Hamas goes, they're not gonna be allowed back in. But this is the problem with saying that, though. I mean, first off, how many of the Palestinians are we sure does not sympathize with Hamas? They may say they don't, but how many are we sure about? Remember, we never dealt with the Palestinian plight, so Hamas could still be around. I mean, like I said, they wanted a two-state solution, and we really just gave them a hostile takeover. So how long would that last? I don't know. I believe Trump is honestly making the wrong call on it, and he could be putting American lives on danger in the long run. But hey, that's to be foreseen, and we'll just see how it goes from there. We got to see how the military is going to take effect and all that good stuff.
Very slowly, we're in no rush.
Or how military protection will take
stability to the Middle East to a totally war-torn part of the Middle East. A part of the Middle East that has caused tremendous problem, the Gaza Strip. And we'll own it. It's totally demolished right now. It's a demolition site. It'll be reclaimed. It'll be leveled out, fixed up. There won't be anybody there. Hamas won't be there. We'll be building.
And guys, if you have any question, comments, disagreements, $2 and up, I'll go ahead and I'll engage with the question or comment. But if not, you just go ahead and debate with the people in the chat or just double tap that screen and let's get more people in on the conversation. I appreciate the support. Let's go.
Through other of the very rich countries in the Middle East, they'll be building some beautiful sites for the people, for the Palestinians to live in. They'll be living in harmony and peace probably for the first time in hundreds of years.
And just to clarify, I know you don't want to tell us about your conversation with President Putin, but can you clarify whether you had that since you've been in office, or whether it happened before you became president?
I've had it. Let's just say I've had it.
As
And I expect to have many more conversations. We have to get that war ended. It's going to end. We have to get it ended. And we have to get it ended soon. Should have never happened, would have never happened if I was president.
Mr. President, a couple of years ago, your vice president suggested that if the Supreme Court rules in a way you don't like, just let them enforce it. Do you agree with that?
Say the last part.
Vice President suggested that if the Supreme Court rules in a way that you don't like, they can just enforce it by themselves. Do you agree with that?
I don't know even what you're talking about. Neither do you.
Hey, nah. That man wreck as hell. He says, I ain't got no idea what you talk about, and neither do you. All right, yeah, shout out Trump. All right, man, you gotta love these moments. But all right, let's get over to Big Wave Day. Super chat, he says the libtards out in full force tonight. Well, I ain't glad I added the full force. But yes, you guys are out in force tonight. So much crying, they are going to be even more mad when we prosper. I'm telling you. I mean, bro, when the American economy goes up and everybody got more money in their pockets, are y'all gonna be upset about that? Are y'all really gonna be upset like, damn it, I got more money in my pocket? I hate that man Trump. You know what? Actually, y'all might just do it. Y'all might just do it, actually. I could believe it.
Import rules in a way that you don't like, they can just enforce it by themselves. Do you agree with that?
I don't know even what you're talking about. Neither do you. Who you with?
Up close, sir.
Who?
Up close.
No wonder. I thought they died. Are they still around? I haven't read them in years. I thought they died. All right, go ahead. Who else?
On security clearances, you've been yanking a lot of them. Why does it make the country safer to take away the AG security clearance? And is that a form of retribution?
If there's somebody, if there are people that we don't respect,
Here's the thing, though. Y'all can't get mad about stripping of security clearance when y'all stripped RFK Jr. of his security clearance. When this man had every reason to have security clearance, being a candidate, and y'all rejected him. And he just had multiple threats on his family and his life. So y'all don't want to hear about, oh, why did you strip security clearance for Fauci and this and Biden and all that good stuff? Because that's why.
For people that we thought that were breaking the law.
Remember RFK Jr. Just look. When why are stripping security clearance? RFK Jr.
Came very close to it in previous years. We do it. And we've done it with some people. We've done it with Biden himself. We think our country is not as safe if you gave him clearance. We don't think he knows what he's doing. And what he's done to this country is a disgrace. And what he's done in terms of allowing criminals, murderers, drug lords into our country, people from mental institutions into our country, he should be ashamed of himself.
Is that a legally valid reason?
On deportations, there's been some reporting that you've been upset that there haven't been more deportations. Can you clarify that?
I think they're doing an incredible job. It's very tough. Deportations, finding murderers.
And shout out Big Way Dave for the chirp. The chirp.
Is not easy. Some of them are actually very smart. They shouldn't be in our country. There wouldn't have been. We had beautiful, we just set records for closure. We have the strongest border we've had in many years since my term. But even for many, many years, decades before that. They're doing an amazing job. I think Tom Homan's doing an amazing job. Kristi Noem's doing an amazing job. But it's not easy finding murderers who know they're being looked for. But we're sending out thousands of people. We're getting rid of thousands of criminals from our country.
So, how do you expect to meet him in person anytime? Putin. Do you anticipate meeting with him in person?
I imagine I would be meeting with Putin, yes, at the right time. I think at the right time, at the appropriate time.
And shout Big Way Davey says, "Set, play the Larry video." All right, don't worry, I'm gonna time it perfect.
Back on Gaza, the White House press secretary told us last week that your commitment to rebuilding
Oh, you mean this ceiling that chirps? You mean the one that I can just control ever so effortlessly? Yeah, that one. Gotcha.
You're committed to rebuilding Gaza. Steve Witkoff said that process would take 10 to 15 years. Does your commitment to rebuilding Gaza extend beyond your time in office?
committed to buying and owning Gaza. As far as us rebuilding it, we may give it to other states in the Middle East to build sections of it. Other people may do it through our auspices, but we're committed to owning it, taking it, and making sure that Hamas doesn't move back. There's nothing to move back into. The place is a demolition site. It'll be, the remainder will be demolished. Everything's demolished. I mean, you can't live in those buildings right now. They're very unsafe. But we'll make it into a very good site for future development by somebody. We'll let other countries develop parts of it. It'll be beautiful. People can come from all over the world and live there. But we're going to take care of the Palestinians. We're going to make sure they live beautifully and in harmony and in peace, and that they're not murdered. This has been the most dangerous site anywhere in the world to live in. Hamas has been a disaster. And by the way, I have to tell you that I watched the hostages come back today, and they look like Holocaust survivors. They were in horrible condition. They were emaciated. It looked like many years ago, the Holocaust survivors. And I don't know how much longer we can take that. When I watch that, I know we have a deal where we're supposed to they dribble in and keep dribbling in, but they are in really bad shape. They have been treated brutally, horribly. Even the ones that came out earlier, they were in a little bit better shape, but mentally they were treated so badly. Who could take that? At some point, we're going to lose our patience. When I see that scene that I saw today with people coming out of helicopters and airplanes that are emaciated, that look like they haven't had a meal in a month, no reason for that. And I don't know how much longer.
And I would hit Trump with, well, my man, I don't know. I didn't feel too good about seeing children, buried beneath rubble, women and children. So, spare me the details about the hostages, and because trust me, the kids, that was the worst part of this. That was the worst part of this whole conflict was the women and children. I'll be quite honest with you.
Longer we can take it.
Do you want to recast?
I don't know how long we can take it. When I watch people that were healthy people a reasonably short number of years ago, and you look at them today, they look like they've aged.
And shout out Big Wave Dave coming in. He says, "Your floppy head. What's that about knuckle up? But what's that about knuckle up, buddy? Dummies. Oh wow, dummies. Well, my bad, guys. What's that about knuckle up, buddy? Huh? Dummies can shush. Worry about your own country. Damn. Well, damn, Dave, who you talking to? So I guess somebody's talking a bit out of pocket.
It's 25 years.
That's what it is.
They literally look like the old pictures of Holocaust survivors. The same thing. The same thing. And I don't know how long we're going to take that.
Mr. President, have you gotten some advancement in your proposals for some of the Gulf or Arab nations to take some of the Palestinian people? And if not, what do you think the reason is for their hesitance? Is there some very honest reason that they've even told you privately, or that you think why they're hesitant to take the Palestinian people?
Why are they hesitant to take them? Because they never spoke to me. They spoke to other people. They didn't speak to me. When they speak to me, they're going to take them.
Is it because they think that you would not allow them to return to Gaza? Is that part of it?
They don't want to return to Gaza. If we could give them a home in a safer area, the only reason they're talking about returning to Gaza is they don't have an alternative. When they have an alternative, they don't want to return to Gaza. If they had a home that was safe, where you don't have.
I would have to hear that from them. I ain't gonna lie, Trump. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'd have to hear that from them. I'd have to hear that from the Palestinian people. Like, yeah, bro, we got somewhere better. We'll go there. And you know what? I could believe it, but I'd have to hear it from them.
Have Hamas threatening them, killing them, torturing them. They'd rather not return to Gaza, but right now Gaza is the only alternative. As far as the other regions, the only reason they maybe don't act enthusiastic is they haven't talked to me. They talk to other people, but not to me. When they talk to me, they'll be enthusiastic.
And then on spending, you found some maybe questionable expenditures, or Elon Musk has found them?
Some questionable. The whole country looks like it's a fraud. It's fraud, waste, abuse, but it's a tremendous fraud. And what Elon and his group of geniuses have found is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And that's just in US AID.
Yeah.
Soon we're going into education. You'll find the same thing but bigger. Soon we're
Oh, and don't worry, we'll be getting into this USAID debate tonight. Yes, we are going to get into it because I got a couple videos lined up first. So stay tuned in and make sure to double tap that screen and like the video, guys. We appreciate the support. And you can super chat any question, comments, disagreements, or jokes. $2 and up. We'll go ahead and read it out loud and post it to the top of the chat, just like our man Big Wave Dave right here, calling somebody a floppy head. I mean, hey, it is what it is, right?
going into the military, and you're going to find a lot of bad things happening there. You'll find it because our government has not functioned properly for many, many years, and we're going to make it function properly. We're even looking at treasuries. There could be a problem. You've been reading about that with treasuries. And that could be an interesting problem because it could be that a lot of those things don't count. In other words, that some of that stuff that we're finding is very fraudulent. Therefore, maybe we have less debt than we thought of. Think of that. So a lot of things are happening, but Elon's doing an excellent job. We started with 12 guys with high IQs, and now we have 100 guys with very high IQs.
Do you think Congress has failed to do their oversight, or do you think your first administration, some of your cabinet agencies failed?
I think everybody failed. I think everybody failed.
Why does Elon's financial disclosure remain secret?
Because nobody's looking at that. We're looking at all the corruption that's taken place. I mean, his financial disclosure is largely the number of shares that he's got in very public companies, and that's not secret at all. If you read that, you'll see a lot. I mean, he talks about his whole thing. I read one where it really gave a very good history of him, but basically it's a number of shares times a certain stock price.
So why is it not public?
It is public. All you have to do is read it.
I'm weak.
So on USAID, sir, what is kind of like the message to countries that depend on humanitarian aid distributed through USAID? What is your message to those countries, sir?
I mean, sure. I ain't gonna lie. My message to them countries would be, hey, find a better way to work with us, okay? Because us just giving you money for whatever, that ain't it. That can't fly no more. I mean, look how we're taking care of these other countries and how they spit in our face. I mean, Canada, Mexico, Japan. I mean, we just got Japan to start acting right. So yeah.
Ones that have been, the few that have been legitimate in terms of getting legitimate money, we'll probably put it through the State Department. It'll be handled by Marco Rubio, highly respected man, Secretary of State. There's no reason for USAID, when you look at the politicians that have been in there sucking the blood out of it, when you look at all of the fake deals. I mean, look, all you have to do is get a list of all of the things you can see by the heading. It's fake, it's fraudulent, it's probably kickbacks, where they send the money and then it gets kicked back to the person that sent it. So the ones that are good, and there are not many of them, but the ones that are good, and there are some, will probably have that be handled by Marco Rubio in the State Department.
Will they take on some of the USAID workers? Or what?
If they like.
Will it still be called USAID, Mr. President, or will it not?
I don't know that it's going to exist.
Hmm.
Why would you need it? The State Department can take that.
Do you think the amount of spending on foreign aid will decrease also?
Now, and look, this is where I got to disagree with Trump. From the information that I've heard, that there are state economies that depend on the USAID. I don't know how the hell you got your whole economy wrapped up in foreign aid, but that's what's happened. They're pretty much saying that, like, pretty much a good amount of Northern Virginia could go down, pretty much economic wise, if we go ahead and shut down this U.S. foreign aid and we don't replace it with something else. It's like, I don't know how, but apparently there are certain states' economies that are tied into this U.S. aid. I don't know how it got this far, but it is what it is. This is where we're at.
So, just the number of employees.
It should decrease. Yeah, I hope it decreases.
Yeah, by how much?
When we have $36 trillion in debt, and we're taking care of countries that are very rich and sending aid to countries, in some cases, that are rich, in some cases, they're not rich. But no, it should very much decrease.
But
it won't be the scams that you've seen.
Another clip that NIH put out a memo on Friday night. It's going to cut $4 billion from the percentage that they pay to universities and public colleges in all those states, not foreign countries. $4 billion, is that okay to take off the top?
Sure. It could be okay. I mean, you have to look at the universities. Some are legit. You could also say, why are we giving money to Harvard when it's got a $50 billion endowment? $50 billion. And yet they don't use that endowment to help their students.
This is for research like biomedical research and whatnot.
That's fine. Look, we want to take care of research. We want to do a lot of things. But when you look at the USAID and you look at all the things and all the scams that was with, I don't have to go through it now, but I'll get you a little list. And you'll see one after another. There were very few legitimate. It was the opposite. Usually you find something wrong, like 1 out of 100, but this is the opposite. Here, almost everything was wrong. You find very few that were good, but there were some that were good. That'll be handled by the State Department, I assume. That's not final yet, but I think the best would be Marco Rubio at the State Department. 1 or 2 more.
You know, it's so funny how I see a lot of, I guess, like ignorant people. I'm gonna say ignorant when they say, "Oh, well, America depends on California and these and New York, these democratic states," and I'm just like, do you not understand that this all works together? I mean, y'all need the red states too, right? The red states help y'all with logistics, food production, and a lot more other things that help these inner cities, these democratic states and inner cities prosper. So it's all one big working thing here. I mean, and you're right. It would be the business that we get for a majority of California and New York that also help these logistic businesses and these farmers selling all that good stuff. So it all works together, because if you don't got us out there in the red states, there's a lot of shit that y'all don't got. Y'all know that, right? It all works together in this one great, like, I don't know, unique thing in our economy. Damn, what's the word for it? It's missing my head right now.
You're going too much on launch services. Is the Pentagon spending too much for launch services to space?
I think space is going to be a very important element. You know, I'm the one that came up with Space Force. I'm very proud of it. Biden tried to get out of it, and he was really rebuked by the military. I think space is going to be one of the most important things we do. It's going to be all about space, especially defense. So space is very important.
You're going. Would you accept Palestinian refugees in?